Almost sounds painful, I know, or abusive in some way. Now I've got a nice thick batter. With water, and that'll moisten up your dough again. Then you got to kind of reform it and seal in the cracks. So if you go too far in the drying, you can always bring it back and re-moisten it. But I'll just go like this real quick. Now if I were going to sit here and make this like we did, you see that tray out there? I spread the whole thing out. I'm not going to bore you with this tonight, but I spread it out over the whole tray. Now we got to make our walnut filling, or apple filling. See how pretty that is? So we've got our heirloom apples again. We'll get a couple, slice them up. In this case, we're going to leave most of the skin on. If you like, you can leave it all on. But we're going to cut it in half and slice them into pieces. And I'd rather go modestly thin. You see this is what, about 1/4 inch thick? Because we're not going to dehydrate these dry. We're going to put in the dehydrator for a couple hours just to get them soft. Because we're making a crepe, so you don't really want to have a strong, crunchy apple texture in the crepe. You want it to give a little bit when you chew it. If you wanted to make this faster recipe and not have to go through the dehydrating process with your apple, you can go through and shred the apple if you wanted with a shredder. But I'll tell you, doing it this way comes out perfect. Just slice them down into nice little pieces. Nutrients onto the skin the way we were meant to in nature. You don't see many other animals out there in nature eating apples and spitting the skin out. They're eating it all because they know where the good stuff is. We're the only species that forgot where the good stuff was. So we need about a couple cups of apples. And it's about 4 cups, which with these big apples you can get away with 3. Now I would have taken the time and cut them ahead of time, but if you do, you get that oxidation, they start to turn brown. So I didn't want to intimidate you with brown apples, not until after they were dehydrated. And of course we're getting all the natural pectins available in this apple. Help chelate all the unwanted heavy metals back onto the system. And I'm saving my seeds because I'll be eating those in a few minutes. Almost a bowl, little happy party. There's about 4 cups of apples going in. Now I get back to the recipe sheet so I don't get lost. 3/4 cup of walnuts. I had my walnuts. Anybody see an extra walnut around? I actually had walnuts. I think somebody ate my walnuts. I think I put my walnuts into our nut milk earlier. So 3/4 cup, we're going to grind down nice and coarse. Once I get my grinder going, there we go. Perfect. Now you see a nice coarse ground. See the texture right there? Nice and chunky. But we're not looking to make an almond butter. And I know I need some more raisins. If I can find the raisins. Did anybody happen to see what I did with these Thompson raisins right here? Here they are. About 1/4 cup. And we'll stir everybody up. We need a little bit of lemon juice, about 3 tablespoons of lemon juice. That I did take the time to do ahead of time. And about 3 tablespoons, there we go. Lemon is a beautiful antioxidant, so it helps reduce the oxidation in the apple. And what's nice is it gives that little extra tartness. And if you ever had a good apple pie back in the day, it's the lemon juice and the lemon zest. That's what makes it perfect. So we've got 1/2 teaspoon of lemon zest. And of course, as I've always said, 85% of the vitamin C available in the lemon is on the outside in the white part that nobody eats. That's what we're getting in the zest. So we stick that in, a little bit of cinnamon, we're in the home stretch. And the maple syrup. Did I hear maple syrup? Somewhere out there. Where is my maple syrup now? There it is. And how much maple syrup was I looking for? 3 tablespoons. 1, 2, 3, and a pinch of sea salt, I know, to keep it honest. About a 1/4 teaspoon. Right there. And that's it. That's going to be our apple mash. And we'll put that on our food dehydrator tray for the sake of the class this evening. I'm going to stick it right on top where we had our granola because there's no compromise there. I think they're friendly together. So now with this, dehydrate this for a couple hours. About 2 or 3 hours. You don't want this to be dry because if it does, it gets too hard and chewy. But you want to soften the texture of the apple. So about 2 or 3 hours at 105 degrees. And you'll come out perfect. Just like you see here. See how it comes out? And that makes them nice and soft, so it's going to go in the inside of our... We've got half a cup of coconut going in, half a cup of cashews that were soaked, about a cup full of water, am I right? Did I hear a cup full of water out there? Half a cup. It's a good thing I stopped. And a little bit of vanilla extract. That's what's going to make this nice and vanilla flavored. Where's my spoon? My time clock's ticking. I'm going to have to guesstimate. 2 teaspoons. 1, 2, 3. I'd rather go a little bit more. It's a vanilla cream. And a little bit of cinnamon, I do believe. About a 1/4 teaspoon. And a pinch of sea salt again. About a 1/4 teaspoon. Maple syrup again. Ooh, good call. Now that one I bet you I would have forgot. My maple syrup, I need a half a cup. And the coconut butter is important because the coconut butter is what's going to give it a thickness when it gets cold. And I believe I needed about 2 tablespoons, am I right? You know, they're not all created the same. Coconut oil I would rather use. It's nice and creamy. Coconut butter is actually this. So it's the oil from the cacao bean. At room temperature, it's solid like a candy bar would be. The oil is a little bit softer and it's going to blend up a lot creamier. If you want your cream to be nice and hard, you can go with the butter, but I'd rather use the oil actually. It's a lot creamier. Right. And I believe I needed about 2 tablespoons, am I right? You know, they're not all created the same. Coconut oil I would rather use. It's nice and creamy. Coconut butter is actually this. So it's the oil from the cacao bean. At room temperature, it's solid like a candy bar would be. The oil is a little bit softer and it's going to blend up a lot creamier. If you want your cream to be nice and hard, you can go with the butter, but I'd rather use the oil actually. It's a lot creamier. Right. We'll roll this guy right up and on a small little plate for demonstration purpose. We'll put a crepe out here. And we'll take a little scoop of our maple cream, set them right next door. And then it wouldn't be the same without just that little drizzle over top, and that makes it a little pancake crepe. There's a beautiful breakfast. Now certainly you can make big, huge whopping crepes, but we're going to spread them out. And we'll give everybody a nice tasty first.